Here's three scriptures about prayer that's going to change your life, guaranteed, just like it's changed me and my family's life. We're going to read from 1 John 5:14, then we're going to be in John and then in the book of Luke. Let's get into it. And we are confident that he hears us whenever we ask for anything that pleases him. And since we know he hears us when we make our requests, we also know that he will give us what we ask for. I like to say this: it's our job in prayer to make sure that God is hearing us. That has very significant meaning when you start looking through the Bible. I can pray in a way that God doesn't hear me, and I can pray in a way that God does hear me. And the Bible gives us this guarantee in 1 John 5. It says, and since we know he hears us when we make our requests, we also know that he will give us what we ask for. I'm going to give you another requirement of prayer here in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 5 through 8. Yes, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. Anyone who does not remain in me is thrown away like a useless branch and withers. Such branches are gathered into a pile to be burned. And if you remain in me and my words remain in you, you may ask for anything you want, and it will be granted. When you produce much fruit, you are my true disciples. This brings great glory to my Father. So, being in him is probably the most simple part of this. Whenever you're in him, that means you belong to him. You've confessed him as Lord. You believe that God has raised him from the dead. You love him with all of your heart, mind, soul, and strength, repented from sin. You're in him. God gave you the free gift of salvation through grace, and you applying yourself towards God in love guarantees that you're in him. But there's a part two. The second part is you have to have his word abiding in you. It says it right here. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. How does that happen? The fruit is talked about down here. Anyone who does not remain in me is thrown away like a useless branch and withers. Such branches are gathered into a pile to be burned. But if you remain in me and my words remain in you, now listen to this, you may ask for anything you want and it will be granted. Then he says this, when you produce much fruit, you are my true disciples. This brings great glory to the Father. This scripture is saying that when your prayers are answered, you are bearing much fruit. And guess what? The only way to get your prayers answered is when you remain in Him and His word remains in you. That's up to you. That's up to me to have that word in us. You got to get in this thing night and day. Luke 18, 1 through 8. I want to teach you one last thing about prayer from these scriptures. One day, Jesus told his disciples a story to show that they ought always pray and never give up. There was a judge in a certain city, he said, who neither feared God nor cared about people. A widow of that city came to him repeatedly, saying, give me justice in this dispute with my enemy. The judge ignored her for a while, but finally he said to himself, I don't fear God or care about people, but this woman is driving me crazy. I'm going to see that she gets justice because she is wearing me out with her constant requests. Then the Lord said, learn a lesson from this unjust judge. Now remember, this is a parable. Learn a lesson, he says. Even he rendered a just decision in the end. So don't you think God will surely give justice to his chosen people who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will grant them justice quickly. But when the Son of Man returns, how many will he find on earth who have faith? There's two things here that I love about this scripture. Number one, it says in verse 1, he told them a parable, a story about how you should always pray and never give up. So the story is about prayer, but it ends in verse 8 of Jesus saying, when the Son of Man returns, how many will he find that has faith on the earth? What faith? The faith that he just described, the faith that he also calls prayer. I want to tell you, in prayer, God will hear you whenever you go in full faith and confidence, when his word abides in you, when you ask it in his name, and whenever you are persistent and truly believe that he's going to hear you. Because he gives you confidence here that if you just cry out to him day or night, he will hear you. And that type of faith this woman had in this story, that she banged on the door, banged on the door, banged on the door, knowing that something was going to happen. I encourage you to pray that way also. And I'll see you in the next one.